The next step then would be to actually create the statements. And that, of course, is near the end of our little flow chart. We've done our finance charges. Now we're ready to create statements, so I'll give that a click. The screen comes up and needs a little bit of information. Now there are two different dates that you have to be worried about. The first one is, what is the actual date of the statement? Now for this one, I might go ahead a day and say, well, I'm going to put these out on the 10th, and that's what I want printed on the statements. But then I also get to choose what the statement period is. In other words, from what dates or between which dates are you going to show transactions? If you're doing monthly statements, then you would probably do it from the first of the month to the end of the month. And if you did them last month, then you would put in that current date range. Some people only do statements quarterly, some people yearly. You know, there's really no right or wrong way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and leave the last 30 days. Say that it was from June 10th through July 9th. The next thing to decide is, what do you want to create statements for? All open transactions as of the statement date? And if so, then you can say only those that are more than 30 days past due. Or do you want to work with other options as well? Well, I'm going to say that I would like to go ahead and work with all open transactions. So if I have somebody, say back from January, who still hasn't paid me, they are going to see a statement because they're all open transactions. If I would have said I only want statements between June 10th and July 9th, I would not see a person who had one that far back. What I would see then is just a summarization that says previous balance. Now I know as a consumer myself, I sometimes don't like getting statements that say outstanding balance, because then I have to think back or find paperwork from before then to see what it was actually for. So there's a little bit of preferences here as well. It also depends on what you're using your statements for. Is it really for record keeping purposes, or is it really just a reminder if somebody has a past due balance? I'm going to go ahead and say all transactions. And then I can say include only transactions over so many days. I usually like to see this because it's kind of annoying to get a statement from somebody. Maybe you went to the doctor 2 weeks ago and you get a statement and it already has that is past due. Well, no, it's not, because you have 30 days. So this is kind of a luxury item that allows you to say, I'm not going to bug people if it's only been less than 30 days. The next option that you have is, who do you want to send statements to? You can send them out to everybody. That could be a really big job. You can send them to multiple customers that you will select, to one customer, to customers of a certain type, or only to customers, say, who have said they want a hard copy statement versus email. I'm going to go ahead and just select one customer. We don't need to see everybody. And that gives me a drop down, and I can choose for whom I see this. I'm going to choose Mark Patterson because we just applied some finance charges for him. I know that that's what I want. You also can use this if you're maybe discussing with some of your clients and you do have a past due amount and you specifically want to send just them a statement about what you've been discussing. All right, we're getting down there, but we have some stuff over on the right-hand side to take a look at. You have additional options. Which template do you want to use? Because you can create your own. Do you want to create one statement per customer or per job? So if you have somebody who has lots of separate jobs going, maybe for different departments, different cost codes, they may need to have a statement for each individual job and not have them all rolled up into one for themselves as a customer. I like to show invoice details. Again, give people the information they need. If you're sending them a statement, especially if they have outstanding balances, the more information you can give them, maybe the more likely they are to pay. If you're doing a lot of statements, you can print them by billing zip code, and that, of course, helps you do mass mailings. When you take a lot of stuff down to the post office, they would prefer that they already be sorted by zip code. You can print the due date on transactions, and you can choose to not create statements with a zero balance. Yeah, I don't want to waste my stamp or their time if they don't owe me any money. With a balance of less than so much, maybe they owe me 4 cents, they underpaid. Again, is that really worth sending a statement out? If they don't have any account activity, that's a good one. I don't need to send people an invoice or a statement if they haven't purchased something, say, in the last 5 or 6 months. So once you get all of this done, you can see that that's pretty easy. You can then print or you can email. I'm not going to do either because you can't see how that works. Instead, I'm going to click on the preview button. Have this open up in a print preview so that you can see what we've been talking about. Up at the top, we have our navigation buttons again, print, previous, next page, zoom in and out. I'm just going to click here. So there's Mark Patterson. It has the date on it, Down below, it has his invoice, when it was due, the original amount. It tells everything about it. It was for Office 2007 CBTs, 10 at $424, and it has tax. So, as I said, we can actually make this a very, very detailed statement by simply including the right information. I'm going to go ahead and close. And I'll also close out of this particular window and get back to my home page.